Good evening. This side, Rahul Magan here is a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is a multinational headquartered group based out Singapore. We are a multinational hedge fund who actively take position in US, Europe, commodities and currencies. But having said that, we are a proprietary hedge fund. By proprietary, I mean no third party. I repeat, no third party can invest capital in our fund. Guys, you know that I worked as a group corporate treasurer of an American company. And during my 9.5 years career, I dealt with almost every foreign bank. You name Goldman Sachs, JPMorgan, Citi, Standard Chartered, Barclays, HSBC, Royal Bank of Scotland, Standard Chartered, UBS, you name it, apart from the Indian banks also. I know that till what extent how these banks are actually working. One of the banks out of the name which I mentioned and name I not mentioned, I actively dealt is the JPMorgan Chase. We used to do two kind of business with JPMorgan. Number one, the non-deliverable forward, which we used to cover from their Singapore branch, Raffles. Number two, we used to cover the deliverable from their Indian branch, which is at Mumbai, JPMorgan Mumbai. From the last 2.5 years, I'm repeatedly saying one thing in the market, that the precious metals, whether this is gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and other precious metal, they are manipulated in nature. Because fundamentally, they are not matching, from the market news. So example, whatever the market news is coming, this market news is supporting that the gold should go up. But unfortunately, rather than going up, the gold is coming down. And one of the reason is that someone is manipulating that market. But unfortunately, 99.99% investors, I repeat, 99.99% investors do not have the knowledge. Since they do not have the knowledge, they do not aware that how exactly this manipulation happening. Today we got a document from the internet. This document is about JPMorgan Chase. It's a complete booklet which I downloaded from the internet. I'm going to be reading this whole booklet thoroughly, line by line, as I am a corporate treasurer, ex-corporate treasurer, now having my own hedge fund, so I understand how these manipulation happen. JPMorgan Chase is once again, I repeat, is once again accused of manipulating the precious market. So I repeat, JPMorgan Chase is once again accused of manipulating the precious market. If I go with the document, one of the articles which I did printed on 7th July 2022 from Bloomberg, it's saying that Michael Novak, the former managing director who ran the precious metal business for more than a decade means more than 10 years, making hundreds of millions of dollars in profit, trading everything from silver to palladium. Now he and his two former colleagues is facing a federal jury in Chicago on a criminal charges or thousands of so-called spoofing trade. Now, this is a live evidence that JP Morgan Chase manipulated the gold market. This isn't the first time JP Morgan being charged for manipulating the market. Effective 2008, you can check the Google, effective 2008, there are many instances when JP Morgan Chase found manipulating the market. And whether this is any form of asset class, and this time they target the precious as an asset class. So according to this, the trial slated to kick off Thursday, which means the coming, threatened to lay bare the inner workings of the precious bank that long dominated the market for the gold. The government say Michael Novak business operated as a criminal enterprise, manipulating prices from 2008 to 2016 by placing thousands of trade orders that never intended to be executed. So what is spoofing? Spoofing means you create an order in a system which you do not want it to order, which you do not want it to honor. So example, you create 1 million lots order gold 1742 buy, but you do not want it to honor that. As soon as it comes near the price, you cancel them. Now, spoofing can be buy side, spoofing can be sell side. It means if JP Morgan doing the spoofing, then the common sense is the spoofing is either buy side or sell side or both. Unfortunately, the article is not talking about that, but being a trader, being a hedge fund owner, being an ex-corporate treasurer, I myself is aware that spoofing is of two types. They are big hitters, said Mr. Robin Barr, a former metal strategist at Societe Generale who spent more than 3 decades in the industry. Coming to court gives it a lot more transparency in what a very opaque market. The trial comes after years of US government crackdown on the manipulation, which saw JP Morgan paid 922 million US dollar, 920 million US dollars to settle spoofing case 2 years ago. It means 2 years ago, JP Morgan already paid $920 million, and now their name is another in the public. Do you know that as of end of March, which means the March which just went by, March 2022, the total precious metal derivative contracts were 330 billion US dollar, 330 billion, out of which JP Morgan Chase account for 67% of the contract, which means around 200 billion plus. Out of 330 billion, 200 billion plus is only accounted by JP Morgan Chase. Only accounted by JP Morgan Chase. Novak, who was also a board member of the body. Remember, he was the board member of the body, and this isn't the first time when the people, those who sitting at the top, they deliberately manipulated the market. Novak, who was the board member of the body that runs London gold market, facing 15 counts, including commodities fraud, conspiracy to engage in racketeering, price manipulation, spoofing, planting fake orders into the market to steer others into buying or selling that favor the bank. Like I said, spoofing is of two types. One is the buying, one is the selling. If I'm placing a big order in the market, I'm misguiding people, they will buy. If I'm placing a big order, I may be misguiding people, they will sell. Trader Greg Smith faces 13 counts while Jeffrey Roffo, a salesperson, facing 2 counts. Although I'm yet to read the whole document, but this is a live evidence of the fact that till what extent these banks are manipulated. Goldman, Citi, JPMorgan, UBS, Deutsche, Barclays, you just name them. History is witness that they did enough scandal. And do you know, guys, in India, every day you will see these banks are guiding the retail investors to buy this and sell this. I have seen Citibank giving a target of 900 plus to Paytm. JPMorgan Chase very recently going against ONGC. And JPMorgan Chase is supporting many other companies where fundamental is always an issue. This is how the system is actually running. When the banks who are morally corrupt, they are into lot of scandals, lot of issues, lot of regulatory fines, they are guiding people what to buy and what not to buy. And you know what happened, like Citi saying buy Paytm 920. The retail investor will feel that, oh my God, Citibank is saying that buy Paytm at 920, target 920, I would be buying that. Because the retail investment is completely not knowledgeable with the fact that he is buying a stock price, he is buying something who is a loss-making company. And he's buying on the recommendation of JPMorgan Chase of Citibank, who already sold his business in the Asia and who is facing lot of conspiracy into the system. This is how exactly the system is running. And these documents are of evidence. I know that nothing would happen in India. Just like recently, EY faced 100 million fine from SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission US. I hardly seen anyone talked about that. I hardly seen any newspaper covered that, but we would be covering that. Guys, with these things, one thing which is proved, that the whole system is compromised. Whether this is foreign exchange, whether this is, commodity, whether this is, any asset class you mentioned, it is all compromised. These big banks are manipulating as per their own requirement, and at the end of the day, they are not only making the investors fool, but they are also making a huge amount of money. This is how exactly the system is working. And unfortunately, retail investor is feeling like a trap because of no knowledge. Anyways, I'll read this document thoroughly, and then I'll have detailed videos on the YouTube channel, because I hardly bother about JPMorgan Chase and anyone. This is Rahul Magan. You know my personal number, 9899242978. I repeat, 9899242978.